Good afternoon, and welcome to our weekly Lunch Bite webinar series from Interface Systems. My name is Brooke Kaiser, and I'm the Marketing Coordinator for Interface Systems. Lou Smith, our Director of Consulting Services, will be presenting on how to effectively manage projects in Microsoft Teams. Please save any questions you have for the end of the presentation, and kindly use the question and answer chat feature that's located in your queue. Thank you for joining us today, and enjoy the webinar.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Lou Smith. I am a member of the Interface Systems team. Today we'll be talking about how to effectively manage projects in Microsoft Teams, and I thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to join us for this conversation. I spent a lot of time working with our clients to help them leverage technology to more effectively and efficiently deliver for their clients. One tool that we talk about on a consistent basis in that regard is Microsoft Teams, and managing projects is by far one of the greatest uses of Microsoft Teams as a whole. When I reference projects, there's typically, in a very general sense, two types that I categorize them into. The first is a simple project. The second is a complex project. Your simple project might be something that maybe requires one person internally who's managing it. You may have a resource that's working on it. You might have a third party that you're interacting with. My favorite example to use is the installation of the copiers within the office. I'm the project manager. I have someone in IT that's prepping the network so that they can be installed appropriately, and I'm working with the copier company to coordinate everything. I don't need complex project management tools to manage a small project like that. I can use chat within Microsoft Teams in order to interact internally. I can use Teams meetings to have conversation with my copier company, and I can use the To-Do app in Microsoft 365 to manage my list of tasks, a simple checklist. However, there are definitely more complex projects that we have to manage from time to time. They include multiple different resources, various different work streams, a lot of different tasks, and status that needs to be reported across those tasks. This is where I need something a little bit more robust to manage what's going on. I can use channels within Microsoft Teams within my teams in order to manage all of the collaboration and communication that's going on a day-to-day basis. I can leverage Teams meetings for all of my project meetings. And within Microsoft 365, you have access to a tool called Planner, which is a little bit more robust task management, project management tool that you can use. Now, one thing I will say, if you have a very complex and seasoned project management lifecycle and approach process, you might need access to things like resource leveling and some of those other advanced tools. Microsoft Project, there's just no replacement for that type of situation in my own personal opinion, but you can add that very easily to your Microsoft 365 subscription at any point in time. For today's conversation, we're talking specifically about those tools that you're already paying for that you can leverage tomorrow. So let's go ahead and jump on over to our test tenant here. And when I jump in, I can see that I have multiple different teams associated to me, my Contoso team, my business development team, but I also have this project-based team called my X1050 launch team. Within here, I have multiple channels, such as this digital assets web channel that I'm interacting with right now, and I can see the various conversations going on between my team members. The replies going back and forth. Again, there's just no substitute for managing collaboration from a communication and file sharing perspective like you can do within Microsoft Teams. However, I need to track the project tasks that are going on. And what I've done is I've created what's called a Microsoft Planner tab within Microsoft Teams. And I did so in my general channel. Now, this is actually a good question. Many times I'll get the question of where should I add Planner within my team? I always recommend doing it in the general channel because everyone has access to it. Sometimes I've seen people create a dedicated channel for status tracking. That's a great place to put it as well, as long as it's not a private channel like this test channel down here. You just want to make sure everyone has access to it. I created the plan by simply hitting the plus sign up here to add a tab. Clicked on Planner. You can call it whatever you would like, name your plan. You can actually use an existing plan if you already created one and you're just looking to add it into your tab here. So you have some flexibility in that regard. However, I've already created this one, so let's go ahead and jump into it. And if you've never seen Planner before, this is a fantastic way to visualize and interact with your data in various different ways. In the board view, which we're in right now, you can see that there are multiple areas which we call buckets across the top of the screen. So I have design, digital assets web, go-to-market plan, so on and so forth. And I can simply scroll to the right to see all of the different buckets that I have access to. Underneath each of the buckets, we have what are called cards. These are the different squares and rectangles that you have access to. These are also known as your tasks. As a project manager, when I log in and look at this board view, right away I can see a couple of things that might catch my eye. Right away I can see this task is behind, it's past its due date. So I might want to take a look at that. I can see this one's been flagged as at risk. This one says it's behind schedule. A lot of different visual indicators that I can leverage as the PM to start doing my job. Picking on this one that right away I see is beyond its due date, I'm going to go ahead and open this up and see, okay, so this is in my legal and compliance bucket. It's actually not started, which seems rather odd since I'm beyond my due date here. I can see Grady as my person that's assigned. And let's see down here. Oh, wait a minute. It looks like I actually, silly me, I forgot. I went and checked with Grady earlier in the day and found out that the task was actually completed. He just didn't update the task, which brings up a really good best case or best practice item to apply when you're managing these tasks. Anytime someone interacts with the task and makes an update, have them place a comment here. This gives you the capability to track what's going on within your task. So if Grady seriously completed it and just forgot to mark it as such, now I as the PM can come in and say, well, actually, it was completed. It's already marked as complete now. Based on that, you can see it's actually has the cross through up top here to indicate that as well. And when I come back out, I can see now I have a completed task and nothing left in legal and compliance. By the way, to view your completed tasks, simply click on the drop down here and it will show what is underneath. Now, additionally, I can see that some things are marked with a color coding here, and this is something to keep in mind as well as you're trying to organize how you're managing the projects. On the right-hand side are all of these different labels that you can completely customize on a per project basis. You can see some are labeled their color. They've just not been updated for the purpose of this demo. However, red was updated at risk, yellow behind schedule, and green is on track. Very quick visual indicator to see what's going on within each of my tasks. So if I come to the one that's behind schedule, I can see that it's flagged as such, but if I talk to the team, I might find out, you know what, it's actually not behind schedule, but people might have seen that earlier in the day today. Let me flag it as on track just in case anyone comes back in to take a look at that task. Additionally, within the tasks, you can see that there are some other options available like the checklist. Every task, or a lot of tasks, I should say, not every task, might have some subtasks tied to it, and I can add those in the form of this checklist. I can easily interact with it here from the task view. I can also do so straight from the card view out here and start to mark things as complete. So a lot of flexibility in how you interact with each of those different tasks. Now I can also group by bucket, or I group various different ways, and right now I'm actually grouped by bucket. I can group by who it's assigned to, so I can see what tasks Adele has assigned versus Alex versus Diego. I can also take a look at due date and see, okay, well, I have nothing that's late. That's great. I just took care of that one, which I can now see underneath here that Grady took care of for me. I see I have 2 coming up next week and several others coming in the future. A lot of flexibility in how you visualize and view what's going on. Speaking of which, the charts view is another great example of this, a very good way to visually see what's happening within your project. You can see by status, by bucket, by priority, by team member. You may even want to drill down and say, okay, I see this in progress task for Lee. What is that task? And when I click on it, it highlights or shows that task on the right-hand side. And it shows me actually a lot of other folks that are in progress as well. But if I want to see all of the different tasks like I had in my board view, simply click off of that and you can see them again. Now I'm grouped by my due date just as I was over in my board view when I left it, but I can group this just as easily here by bucket, by assigned to, whatever I prefer, and start to interact with these tasks in this view just as I did in the prior view. Flexibility is key here, and having those options to work in the way that works best for you and for other team members, quite honestly, to do the same thing makes a huge difference. The last view that's available is the schedule view, and I definitely know a lot of people that prefer to look at things in a calendar-based format. And I can interact with my tasks from this view the exact same way that I could in the others, start to make updates, etc. So again, just a lot of flexibility here. One of the other things that I'm asked about periodically is if I'm assigned to multiple different projects and I need to see all of the tasks to which I'm assigned, how can I do that across all of those projects? By coming into your app menu, and it's not in here, so let me go out to my main menu here and pick Planner from my apps list in Office 365. I can come out and go into the Planner app specifically, and at the top here, see my tasks. So this is across all projects. Obviously, this is only my X1050 launch plan, but you can see the plan name associated to each of the tasks in my quick view here and see its overall status and start to group it the same way there or different ways, just as I can within the plans themselves. So there's a lot of different ways that you can interact with Planner and with your team using what you have capable and available in Teams and within the Planner app itself. I hope you found that this webinar was useful. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. And if you're interested in checking out any of our other webinars, please check out our website at interfacesystems.com/webinars.
Thank you again for joining us today. As always, questions are always welcome using the Q&A chat feature. Please don't hesitate to contact us after the webinar if you think of any questions. You can reach Lou Smith at lsmith@interfacesystems.com. So right now we'll take this opportunity for Lou to answer any Q&A that come in.
Thanks, Brooke. I don't see anything in the general Q&A, but I did definitely get a couple of private questions sent over to me. Actually, one just popped up. I apologize. So how does Planner compare to Asana? I couldn't give you a really good feature-by-feature breakdown of the two. I've had limited use and access with Asana in the past. I will tell you that there are definitely some various similarities between the two. There's also a lot of other tools out there like, what's the other I'm trying to think of, Monday.com and some others along those lines. They all have various different features and benefits. I think the key there is just weighing the benefits across the board to figure out what's going to be the right choice for the team. For this one, Planner comes right with everything that you have in Microsoft 365. So from a selection perspective and a general cost and availability perspective, it tends to be a little bit of an easier choice in that regard. Great question, though. A couple of others that came in to me privately over here. The first one, is there a way to print a plan or the task list in Planner? This is actually a very good question, and unfortunately the answer is no. This is a common item that definitely comes up and one that has driven a lot of enhancement requests directly with Microsoft. But at this point, I'm not sure when or if that will be made available in the near future. Let's see here. Is there a limitation to the number of tasks we can create in a plan? Yes, there actually is. So there is a total of 250 tasks that you can add in a plan, and that would be a pretty sizable plan. Obviously, but there definitely is a limit there. I have seen some rumor that that's something that's to be expanded. I've not seen any confirmation as to any timing on that, unfortunately. All right, and I do have one more here. Can I access this from my mobile phone? Yes, definitely. And Microsoft was kind enough to create a dedicated Planner mobile app that you can use. And I personally, I think the interface for that app is very nice. I've used it myself multiple different times on projects that we've been working on for clients. You simply just have to download it from your app store and log in with your Office 365 credentials to access the information within. I think that's all that I see at the moment, Brooke.
All right, great. Well, like I said, if anybody has any questions they think of afterwards, please don't hesitate to contact Lou with his email address there. And we thank you again for your time today. We'll end the meeting now. Take care. Have a great day. Thanks.